Can we give Reverend Bonnie just a big round of applause for everything she does? It's such an absolute honor to be here. Before we begin, I want to read to you one of my favorite quotes. I was out here in the lobby, and I was looking at some of the books out there, and one of them was Emmett Fox. How many are familiar with Emmett Fox? And my favorite Emmett Fox quote is the one about love. You know, today I want to talk to you about how do you create your brightest future. And the essence of creating your brightest future is love. And you think about all we really need. The Beatles got it right. All you need is what? Is love. That's the answer to everything in life. So I want to read this quote by Emmett Fox. Oh, man. He wrote, he says, "There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer. There is no disease that enough love will not heal. No door that enough love will not open. No gulf that enough love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. And if you could love enough, you would be the happiest and most powerful person in the world." Let's give Emmett Fox a big round of applause for that. Oh, it's just so powerful. So powerful. And it's such a pleasure to be here. And today, before I get into my story, and before I share with you what I believe are the 3 causes to create your brightest future, I remind of something very powerful Ernest Holmes says. As I share this, what Ernest Holmes said, I wanted to penetrate, to enter into your soul, to open up your soul to receive this. And he said this: if someone else has done it, you can do it. You see, as I'm here today standing, you see, at one point, doctors didn't think I was going to live. You see, with the cancer, I had leukemia, spread the fluid in my brain. And I laid there in the hospital bed, 2 o'clock in the morning. A doctor came in who I called Dr. Doom. Because this is the type of person, they brighten the whole room as soon as they leave. How many having Dr. Dooms in their life? See, T. Harv Eker, and this is powerful, he said this: where your attention goes, your energy flows, your results show. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, your results show. Because we know this: what you focus on in life is what you get back. You see, you create your brightest future by the energy you send out. And you think so many people, they're just going through the motions. So many people, all they can see is the negativity. All they can see is the wall. What you focus on is what you get back. You think about this. What a great illustration. This is roof. You know, you think about it, right? When it first happened, it'd be easy to say, man, that's kind of a, I don't know what's the word, a bummer, I like that. A little bit of a bummer. But you see, there's always that blessing. One of my favorite quotes, one of the quotes that really allowed me to help create my brightest future was by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. And Napoleon Hill wrote this: that every adversity, every heartache, every failure carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. You see, at 23 years young, when I heard those 3 words no one wants to hear, I had a choice. And in reality, that's all you ever have in life is a choice. You see, what's so great we learn in religious science is that you can change your life by what? Changing your thoughts. You see, the awesome thing is it doesn't matter what happens to you. What matters is what happens inside. Because as within, as without. See, that's the awesome thing. Not our circumstances, it's our choices. And at 23 years young, I made the choice to visualize, and this is the first cause to create your brightest future, to visualize my victory. Visualize my victory. And at 23 years young, instead of looking at that wall, those 3 words, I focused on the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And at 23 years young, that was someday, somehow, somewhere, some good would come from my experience. See, this is what I know. Out of your mess comes your message. Out of your test comes your testimony. And this is what I know here, divine purpose, that I was supposed to be here today because someone, especially in this room, needs to hear something. And perhaps it's not as much as you hear, but to get in touch with my soul, with my spirit, with my energy. The divine presence within me is within you. As I stand here today, not as Matt Jones, not as a person, but stand here as pure potentiality, what's possible for you. There I was, laying in the hospital bed, unconscious state. What happened was a cancer spread the fluid in my brain. I had an infection. One of my kidneys failed, temperature over 104 degrees. 2 o'clock in the morning, Dr. Doom walks out of my hospital room in January 2004. And she calls family and friends. My good friend there, Jordan. Jordan in the back there, wave your hand. Everyone, let's give Jordan a big round of applause. He's my brother from another mother. Went to high school together, college together. He drove out here with me. And 2 o'clock in the morning, got that phone call. You need to come to the hospital. Matt's not going to live. And see, here's the thing. See, Paul in the Bible writes this, the Church of Corinth, and I like this scripture. He says this: we do not focus on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. You see, all Dr. Doom could see was the seen. She didn't realize the divine healing presence within me. And against all laws, miraculously, I was healed. And I remember I came out of that unconscious state, and there I was. I remember sitting in the hospital bed. And I remember sitting in the hospital bed. My mind was just, I thought I was in a different city. I remember trying to read a paragraph. I couldn't even read a paragraph. I want to share with you the healing power that's within you. You see, I just recently wrote this book. It's close to 200 pages. But make sure you catch the point. I couldn't read one paragraph. Today, being able to write a book. That's what's possible in your life. Because Ernest Holmes said it. If someone else has done it, you can do it. You see, the reason why I travel all over is not to impress people, but to impress upon them what's possible in their life. If you would, please repeat after me. It's possible. It's possible. And it begins with that first cause. You've got to visualize your victory. Now, to help to increase the energy and also the warmth in the room. And one of the ways we learn is kinesthetically, which is moving our body. So when I say visualize your, if everybody would go victory, it would be my whole highlight coming into New Mexico. Sound good or sound good? Good. All right, here we go. Visualize your victory. Doesn't that feel great? You wake up in the morning. Victory. Go back to work tomorrow. Walk to the front door. Victory. People are like, what is wrong with you? I got to share this. I'm a big believer. I love to laugh. And I think laughter is it's a form of spirituality. I think it's a form of worship and gratitude. Because once again, what you put out is what you get back. And so many people, now I'm originally from Kansas. Now, Kansas, what's one thing you think about in Kansas? Yeah, the Wizard of Oz, which, by the way, one of the most powerful metaphysical spiritual movies of all time. I mean, there's so many great principles. So I have this thing called the Tin Man Syndrome. Because if you remember when Dorothy and the Scarecrow found the Tin Man, how was he? Yeah, he was caught out in the rain. He didn't have his oil can, and he was rusted. And that's how so many people live their lives. They got caught out in the storms of life. And they are stuck in a rut, going through the motions, in need of an infusion of passion. Now, this is very fascinating. Social psychologists have found by changing your body language, you change your life. I recommend you wake up in the morning, do the victory. All right, so here's my funny thing. And I think life is just this great adventure, right? I always like to have fun. So a couple of years ago, I was stuck in the longest TSA security line at the airport. I was so happy, finally made it through the line. I went, victory! Big mistake. They put me in a special room and did a pat down. So now I just say in my head, I want to give you something just as powerful as the victory, and perhaps more practical. I'm doing it right now. Smiling. There was a study in Good Housekeeping that found the average 4-year-old smiles or laughs up to 400 times a day. I mean, how many of you have kids? How many ever seen a kid? Because the thing is, they're in the here and the now. They're in the present. And as you know, that's all we ever have. Now, here's the sad thing. By the time they reach the age of 30, that number drops to 15. And you think about how many people you come across on a daily basis that just need a smile. You see, one of the greatest, simplest, most powerful ways to show love is a smile. I want to encourage you, as you go about your day today, is to smile. Smile. Because that's part of creating your brightest future. And I want to put this into practice. So if you would please, turn to someone your left, your right, give them the biggest, cheesiest, show them all the tea smile you have. I was speaking in a nursing home, did the same practice, and this gentleman there, 93 years young, he said, well, what happens if you don't have any teeth? You got to keep smiling. 3 causes creating your brightest future. The first one, you got to visualize your victory. Timeless truth. Where there's no vision, the people perish. What victory and victories do you want to create? See, that's the great thing about life. You choose the type of life you live. And if you don't like your circumstances, victory, you can change them. How awesome is that? That is so powerful. Visualize your victory. The second cause, if you would please repeat after me, take action. Take action. And if you would please help us remember, everyone do A for action. So take action, A for action. Great saying in religious science says this, treat and move your feet. Oh, have you heard that before? You got to treat and move your feet. See, that's why I want to encourage you. As you leave here today, put into action what you've learned here. And once again, one of the most powerful things you can do is a smile. A smile. You know, it's funny, there was this guy, he was walking by a porch. He was walking by a porch, and on the porch is a dog. And the dog on the porch is whining. And the guy walking by on the porch, there's also a guy on the porch with a dog in a rocking chair. And the guy walking by says, sir, what's wrong with your dog? And the guy says, he's laying on a nail. And the guy says, well, why doesn't the dog get off the nail? And the guy in the rocking chair says, because it doesn't hurt enough. What I want to encourage you is this. I want to encourage you, don't react and complain, but act and change. Don't react and complain, but act and change. Third cause, creating your brightest future. Once again, you got to visualize your victory. You got to take action. And the third one, if you would please, take your index finger, point to your head, and say, elevate, your attitude. You can elevate your attitude. And this is how I describe attitude. The feelings you feel, the thoughts you think, and the words you speak determine the life you live. You see, you think about it, that's all you really have control over, but that's all you need to have control over. The feelings you feel, the thoughts you think, and the words you speak. Now, we showed it earlier. You're feeling kind of down, the energy's kind of low. All you got to do is victory. Change your body language, change your life. Now, another thing, oh man, I don't have time to go in this, but I want to give you this resource. This has been life-changing for me. How many have read the book, Handbook to Higher Consciousness? How many are familiar with Ken Kais Jr.? Write this down. Ken Kais Jr. Oh, man. Woo! Powerful stuff. Life-changing. Ken Kais Jr., he actually was an early mentor to Wayne Dyer. You all familiar with Wayne Dyer, right? This is here we learned from. One of them. Handbook to Higher Consciousness. He talks about how to have control over your emotions versus your emotions having control over you. And one of the things he talks about is having preferences versus addictive demands. Preferences versus addictive demands. Now, a preference is how you prefer something to turn out. But if it doesn't, you don't let it upset you. Versus addictive demands when you have an expectation how someone or something is going to turn out, and if it doesn't, you allow it to ruin your whole day. This is very powerful for the holidays. Because how many has that one relative that kind of gets underneath your skin? You know what I'm talking about here? preferences versus addictive demands. Goes back to we have the choice. The choice. Powerful stuff. So we don't have time to go in, obviously, but Handbook to Higher Consciousness, Ken Keyes Jr. Spells keys. So Keyes. He has lots of books. Just highly recommend him. Highly recommend him. Ken Keyes Jr. Feelings you feel, thoughts you think, and the words you speak. Now, when it comes to the thoughts you think, please repeat after me. I'm not my thoughts.
I'm not my thoughts.
So powerful. How many of you have ever been to a buffet? You been to a buffet? Right? Yeah. And what do we like about buffets? All you can eat. But here's the thing. Do you have to eat all the food? No. You choose what you're going to eat. See, the same thing is true of your thoughts. See, researchers have found that up to 80% of thoughts, the average person, are negative. Here's the thing. Just because you have a negative thought, you don't have to choose that. So I want to share with you something very powerful technique. I don't have time to go a lot into it, but we can share with you. It's very simple. If you want to write this down, stop think. Stop think. One word, S-T-O-P, capital T-H-I-N-K. Stop think. Jordan and I created this. Stop think. S-T-O-P, capital T-H-I-N-K. Stop think is a technique to replace the negative thoughts with positive affirmative thoughts. And here's how it works. When you have one of those negative thoughts, you say cancel, 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 and you replace it with a positive affirmation. Now, one of my favorite positive affirmations is this. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I love it. That's my fave. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Because once again, what you focus on is what you get back. If you would please take a big deep breath in and breathe out. How big a check would you write for that? Priceless. You see, every day that you wake up, that's a victory. Every breath in, every breath out, that's a victory. So I'm going to ask you how you all doing. When I ask how you all doing, if you would just say I'm too blessed to be stressed, that would be awesome. You ready? Here we go. How you all doing?
I'm too blessed to be stressed.
What a great way to greet somebody. You're at the Walmart. How you doing? I'm too blessed to be stressed. They'll be like, what? What? Because how many of those people answer? Fine. Hanging in there. See, they're focused on the wall. And just think the difference that you can make in the life of somebody else just by the way that you greet them. Whew. Man, I'm excited up in here. So stop think. So here's what happens. So you wake up like, oh, man, I'm just complaining. Cancel. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Because what you focus on is what you get back. So elevate your attitude. Elevate your attitude. Or mine, but it's all good. Elevate your attitude. The feelings you feel, the thoughts you think, and the words you speak determine the life you live. There's a Jewish proverb that says there's life and death out of the power of the tongue. I'm a big words person. You see, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I made sure I never said my cancer because I didn't want ownership of that. It was the cancer. And it's so many people, they claim ownership of negative stuff. Cancel. A couple weeks ago, I'm checking out at this, you have a Polo Loco out here, a Polo Loco? Anyway, it's like a chicken place. And we have one in Texas, a Polo Tropical. So I'm there, and she's probably like 16, teenager, probably her first job, and she said something, she said, I'm retarded. I'm like, cancel. Don't affirm that for yourself. Life and death in the power of the tongue. And let me give you an example. So we all have in our rooms this nice little box. Now we have it on our phones that makes this really nice noise in the morning. We call that what? Now, does anybody get warm fuzzies over the word alarm? So instead of calling it an alarm clock, I call it a victory clock. Because every day it goes off, that's a victory. Opportunity to help someone else achieve their victory. 3 weeks ago, I'm speaking in Portland, Oregon. I go to pick up my rental car, and the guy says, are you here for work? And I said, I don't work. Who wants to work? Life's too short for work. I play and create. Whoo! I play and create. See, I get pumped up about that. See, I don't believe you go to a job. You go to a service because you serve others with unique talents and gifts. You see, here's the thing. Words have emotional meanings. And you can either change your feeling over a word, which is hard to do, or you change the word. Because what we know from this teaching is it's all about energy. And the energy you send out is the energy you get back. I'll tell you another word I don't use. I don't believe in bills. Does anyone like bills? Does anyone get excited over bills? Like, woo, victory, got a bill. Check this out. I call them blessings. Because I'm telling you, how many say the heat's a blessing during the cold weather? That's a blessing. You see, what you focus on expands. 3 choices, 3 causes of developing your brightest future. Once again, visualize your
Victory.
Take.
Action.
You got to elevate your attitude. So Mother's Day 2004, I was finishing up a bone marrow transplant. And everything was looking really good, but some of the tests weren't quite where the doctors wanted them to be. And they said, Matt, we got to run some more tests, and you'll probably be here till Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I'd been there for 1 month. I was ready to get out. And that day, in walked to my hospital, Dr. Ganguly. I'll never forget that day. He came up to me and said, Matt, you got to go home. I was like, wow. And the first thing I did is I walked over to the telephone, picked it up, and I called my mom. I said, Mom, happy Mother's Day. I get to go home. And she said, Matt, that was the greatest Mother's Day gift ever. You know, sometimes I wonder, why have I been so blessed to wake up this morning? So blessed to take a breath in and breath out. And the reason why I'm so blessed is the reason why you're so blessed. If you would please, look at your inside of your index finger. You look inside your index finger, on your inside you have those lines. And those lines we call what? Your fingerprints. And what do we know about your fingerprints? They're uniquely yours. You see, just like you have a unique fingerprint, you have a unique and special purpose that only you can provide this world. You create your brightest future, first and foremost, you've got to have love. You've got to visualize your victory. You've got to take action. You've got to elevate attitude. Now, we're about ready to close up the big grand finale. Before I do, I just want to pause. And I want to say thank you for allowing me to come out and share just a brief part of my story and a brief part of my lesson. And you've been so wonderful. Just give yourselves a big round of applause for that. Big round of applause for energy. Now, what I did was, because people always come up to me afterwards, they're all back there. They'll come up to me and say, Matt, what was that one quote you shared? What was that one affirmation? So I create a quote affirmation card, and I have them for you, free gift to you, and at the very back there, Jordan will help you out after the service. Can you hold up those cards for him, Jordan? Let everyone see that. So we've got a whole bunch of these cards, and what I recommend is a lot of people will put them on their refrigerator, or they will put them at their computer at work. So what happens is allow them to visualize their victory. So after the service, free to go back there, take as many as you like, pass them off, family, friends. If you know any Dr. Dooms, they're great to give to them. And then also I realized something. You see, I had a Monday in January 2004. What happened was I got back in remission. I was waiting for a donor for a bone marrow transplant. I was waiting for a donor, and I started having these massive headaches. And I remember I was sitting at KU Medical Center, downtown Kansas City, Kansas, waiting for test results. I heard this knock. And that's when, for the very first time, I met Dr. Doom. I'll never forget that day. She walked from my bedside, and she pulled up a chair. And she said, Matt, the cancer's come back, and it's spread to the fluid in your brain. Now, because of my positive attitude, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to need a brain transplant. By the way, I'm still looking for a donor. And she said, you have a less than 10% chance of living. She got up, and she left. Last October, I turned 37. Victory. One of my speaking mentors, Les Brown, said this: someone else's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. See, that's why you got to visualize your victory. But I realized, I went through that on a Monday, and I realized something. I would never want anyone ever experience a Monday like that. But so many people experience manic Mondays. Have you noticed this? I mean, they made a song out of it. Did you know the most heart attacks occur Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m.? People do whatever they can to get out of going to work. And so what I do, so I created a free Monday Victory email quote. And every Monday, I send out a quote designed to fire up, pump up, inspire. So when you go back there, get your free victory card, make sure if you want to, sign up with your name and your email, and together we can turn manic Mondays into magnificent Mondays. Sound good or sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome, awesome. I want to read to you one last quote, and then we're going to celebrate with the big grand finale. And this last quote is from Charles Fillmore. And who knows Charles Fillmore was? Yeah, of course, he was the founder of Unity. And I want to read you this quote. And this was out of one of his books, The 12 Powers of Men. And he writes this. This is good stuff here. Zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms. It urges the planet on its course. To be without zeal is to be without the zest of living. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim and ideal that the mind conceives. Zeal is the impulse to go forward, the urge behind all things. Without zeal, stagnation, inertia, death would prevail throughout the universe. The man or woman without zeal is like an engine without steam or an electric motor without a current. Energy is zeal in motion, and energy is the forerunner of every effect. So what we're going to do to close this out, to create our brightest future, I want you to visualize a victory you want to achieve. I want you to visualize you taking action on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to elevate your attitude. We're going to send this energy out. And what we're going to do is we're going to cross the finish line together. And together we're going to go victory, victory, victory 3 times, make lots of noise, and give at least 2 people a big high five. And we're going to turn it back over to Reverend Bonnie. Sound good or sound good?
Sounds good.
So if you would, please, if you're able, if not, you can be seated, but if you're able, please stand. Please stand, and here we go. Get your running shoes on. We've gone 26.1 miles, and here we go. We're going to cross the finish line all together. Victory, victory, victory. Lots of noise. And give someone a big high five if you can see it. Believe it's possible. You can do it. And please be seated. Please be seated. Yes, and back up. Reverend Bonnie again. Awesome. Awesome. And please be seated. Please be seated. Victory.